Good morning, good day, good evening. Welcome back to our next episodes for Hunting Around the World. Today we talk about Australia in our episode number 17 already. So Australia is offering us a lot of game that we can hunt here. The most famous, most probably, is the water buffalo, which you can see here on the left side. But we can also offer hunting on bunting, like on the right side. Australia even has axis deers, what you normally more know from Argentina. And of course, the famous wild boars. So there's a huge population of wild boars all over Australia, which we can really hunt here. From the accommodation, Australia is more like, I would say, medium or more normal one. So it's not like these huge 5-star lodges as we most probably know it like from Africa, but here's more like normal accommodation with these small hunting lodges, or then also here like in tents that are close or in the hunting areas. And it's really practical, but there's nothing special for the accommodation. When it goes to hunting, there are two options. Either we go by pickup truck to drive in the areas, because the areas are super big, so it's impossible to just walk them by foot. So we need either a pickup truck or here these 4-wheel drive quads, which we are using to really drive through the areas, either to go to an area from where we are then stalking by foot, or you even drive around, you're looking around, and as you can see here, I mean, they were parking here and still you see the buffalo in the background. So normally there's a huge population of the animals, so that when you drive around, you can already spot the water buffaloes and bantangs and so on, so that you can just then make a plan how to reach them, approach them, and then you can make a shot. Most important is the buffaloes are quite heavy. So that means the minimal caliber, what you're allowed to shoot here, is similar to the big game in Africa, which is a 375 Holland and Holland. And it's really needed because they're really, really strong, and so we need a hard caliber. Yeah, here's some impression now from the area. This is now an area with a lot of water, and these water plants where you see they can really hide quite good. And this is a typical group of buffaloes. So normally they're in family groups or even bigger groups. What we are looking for normally is like bachelor groups or single bulls, which you can also find, because then it's first of all easier to approach them, and also they have better trophies than if you look in these family groups. What you can also find is not only in the water, but also in the forest, that you can see the water buffalo. So here like eucalyptus trees and similar stuff, but still you see they're still looking also for the water, so that even if they're in the forest, they're also going into the water holes or close to the water holes. But you can also find them like in this area, which is more like dry bush, and also small or a few trees in between. But this is an area where they go for feeding, and then they always try to also go back to the water. And that's also, of course, where their name came from as water buffalo. If you would then see one of these, you would really try to get close to them, like 100 to 150 meters. I mean, if you would see them here, it's quite easy because you have a lot of trees and stuff where you could hide. If you find them in the open areas, as we have seen it before, it's much harder because they also can see quite a long distance. So if you try to approach them, they can run away. If you have them here in the trees, then you can really go tree by tree. And if you move slowly with the right wind, then you have a good chance to approach them. And then when you get close, you can really get a shot on them. So the other option is also to hunt on the wild boars. Here's a small group of wild boars coming back from the water into the forest, which you cannot see here. And the other option is also here picture from the helicopter, where you see they're running through the swamps, through these fields, going back into the forest, which you see here in the back. So it's not unusual to see bigger groups like this, but as you can see here, there's also a lot of small ones. So what we are normally looking for is more like the male ones, which are either in these groups, but then it's very important to check which one is the right one, or they go in small male groups or even on their own. Yeah, and if you have then found the right one, you have sneaked to them, you could do the shots. Then you can also come out with such a trophy as this colleague here can show you. As you can see here, the body size is not really that huge, but they have really nice tusks what you can get here. And you also can get bigger size bodies, but as there's not so many food like compared to some places in Europe or like Turkey, the body size in general is a little bit smaller than what we see in Europe, but the tusks are quite good. Yeah, and then on the other side, you also can get the banteng, where you see here in the forest. So this is more like these eucalyptus trees. And of course, the most famous one, the water buffalo. And this is now one of the caliber which you have seen in the open space. So to approach them is quite difficult because they really see you far. So you need to either rub on the ground or really be very slow when you go to them, and then you can get your shot. But as said before, these buffaloes are very tough. Sometimes I even think they're tougher than the buffaloes in South Africa or in Africa in general. So you really need to have a very strong bullet with a lot of energy and to really get them down. Yeah, with this was a short introduction in the hunting in Australia. I mean, Australia offers much more than just hunting. You also can go fishing and you can visit several places. I mean, Australia is really huge for tourism. So it's also a good combination between hunting and also during a normal vacation.